Usually, I wake up at like 7 o'clock and then I have breakfast. And from 8 to 9, we have fitness. And from 9 to 12, we practice. We practice for 3 hours with a lot of players
Hmm.
from like lots of different states, sometimes even with foreigners. And then I have lunch. Then I go to sleep in the afternoon for like 1.5 hours, and then evening we have a gym for 1 hour and then stretching after that. So in
That's
total,
quite.
we're like 5 or 6 hours.
Do you have any nerves before a match? What is your game routine?
So I do sometimes I do feel nervous, like if my opponent is not like either he's a very experienced player or maybe he's like a new player who's very young. So sometimes I'm nervous because what happens if I lose to a young player or something like that. So I just
I see.
go through my warm up, like I talk to my coach before the match, and during that time I'm able to control my nerves.
So, what do you tell yourself when a young player comes up or there's an experienced player on the other side of the court? What
So
goes through your
I
mind?
just
Yeah.
like I just try to focus and like remember my practice. Like it's just like remember what I used to do in practice. I just have to replicate that in the match, and then everything will be okay. Even if the scoreline, even if I lose, I just have to do the best that I can.
What compelled you towards tennis? Could you take us through that?
Like what makes me want to play tennis?
Yeah, it
Like
can be
that.
that, and how you started playing tennis as well.
So like when I was little, I like my parents made me try a lot of sports like badminton, cricket, football, hockey, and tennis. Tennis was the one which I liked the most because tennis I could play the most of the time. Like all the other are team sports, but and there's so little time you get practice. Like you have to share the court with everyone else. But in tennis, you can just play yourself with just you just need one partner, or even without a partner, you can practice a lot yourself. And so that's what I liked about tennis because I can just improve myself as long as I'm on the court.
And are you used to doing a lot of interviews because you seem like a very calm, composed kind of a guy?
Yeah, recently I've done a lot of interviews, so that's why I'm like, yeah, and I also watch a lot of interviews, so I learn from them.
So, can
Yeah.
you take us through the system, the tennis system in India, and to a child who wants to start playing tennis and wants to choose tennis as a career, how should a child go about it? And can you just explain the system, how a child can come up through the system?
I haven't like researched a lot of the system in tennis. Like I got a lot of good academies, like
Mhm.
in Indore, like with Sajid sir, and like I had really good coaches. And even here, like right now, I'm in the best academy in the country. I think like there's a lot of players playing here. So if someone as a child who wants to be a tennis player, I think by the time they're 18, they would know like if I can make it or not. Like it's really, really like it's really hard to go through the final stages because at some point you have to decide you go all in or not. So as a child, I think you should just enjoy the game. Like if you're doing really really well, then there your parents will support you. You'll win tournaments. But there's a lot of children like who keep trying and trying and like they like lot so many people don't make it. So I think you should just enjoy the game and then the game chooses you. I think that's what happens.
What was that moment for you that you wanted to pursue this seriously?
It was in 2017 when I was under
Okay.
14. Uh, that was when I really started playing really really good. It was in a tournament. It was the Road to Wimbledon, and I wasn't ranked really high, but I defeated India number one, two, three, like continuously, like consecutively in a match, and I qualified to go to Wimbledon, London, and that's when I really felt like I really want to continue more of this.
You just mentioned London. How many
Yeah.
countries have you traveled to, and what is the cultural exposure that you've gained by traveling to those countries?
Yeah, I've learned definitely lot from other people. Like traveling, I've like traveled to like 8 countries, I think, 8 countries. Yeah, and like Africa, South Africa. Then there's Togo, some rich countries, some poor countries also. Thailand, Singapore,
Mhm.
Austria, Germany, all these countries, and like the culture and everything. Like people are they're so different everywhere, and I think I've learned a lot of things from them, especially the people. Like players, you can really connect with the players, and they'll tell you a lot about the place. So I've learned a lot about that from players and their coaches as well.
And which country is the best place to travel?
Like I have traveled. I think I like Singapore the most.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Who paid for these traveling expenses? Is it paid by a sponsor generally, or you have to pay it from your own purse?
No, like you have to pay for everything yourself until a very, very long time. Until, yeah, like especially the travel, you have to pay for yourself. Sometimes the tournaments will allow you to like they will pay for your hotel and stay and your food, but for travel you have to pay for yourself. But I think majority of the expenses is like hotels and food only. So I think sometimes tournaments cover that, which is really, really nice. It helps the players a lot.
What are your yearly expenses like as an athlete who plays tennis? What is your yearly expenses, and do you have any sponsors? And yeah, can I add one more
Yeah,
question? Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
how can an athlete get a sponsor? How does athlete gain access to sponsorships?
For sponsorships, like you have to be ranked at least top 10 in the country. I think after the COVID hit, I think there's only limited that to top 5 in the country. So the top 5 in the country usually get sponsored by companies like Head, Babolet, yeah, Head and Babolet. Mostly these are the sponsors, Yonex. So I'm currently sponsored by Head for my like kits and stuff, my rackets, my strings, my cap, my grips, all that stuff, kit bag. And for clothing, I have the sponsor of Indian Tree. They gave me a lot of clothes as well. And for the expenses, I don't think there's so like for the traveling, I don't think there are a lot of sponsors there. I know very few people who are sponsored by for traveling, and usually uh, their father or mother is in the traveling company, so that's how they're sponsored. Otherwise, I don't think anyone has gotten a sponsor for traveling yet.
So you skipped one question. What is your yearly expenses? What is how much do you spend
Or
every
yearly expenses, like really depends on the tournaments I go. Like
year?
if I'm going out of country, I think easily like it'll go over 1 lakh for like 2 3 tournaments. So usually we don't go just for one tournament. There's like 2 3 tournaments in a row. So the traveling expenses can be we can limit the travel expenses as much as possible.
Hmm.
And so there's 2 3 tournaments in a row. So it's easier to play them, and you get used to the course, the conditions also. So usually we play like 2 3 tournaments. So easily over 1.5 lakh.
And how many tournaments do you play in a year? A typical year?
Say at least 20 tournaments
Wow.
outside. No, there's some tournaments in India also. So those are way less expensive. They would be like 25 30K. Yeah, that will be way less expensive. So
So
like
if
I'd
you
say
add,
I play about 7 or 8 tournaments outside the country.
so on an average, the yearly expenses can go up to 5 to 6 lakhs.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah, that is a lot.
This is
That's why
going to
it's an
be
expensive sport. It's a very expensive sport. You have to have the time, the money, and the commitment, everything, discipline. It takes a lot.
this is one question I wanted to ask you. The most popular tennis player you've met till date.
Met the most popular would be Andy Murray.
Wow. Okay, I didn't expect
Yeah,
this.
it
And
was
do
the
you have
time I went. It was
and
the
what?
time I went to London.
I'm
London,
sorry.
yeah.
What conversations did you have with him?
We didn't have a lot of conversation. He was in a hurry. He was going to practice. So actually, we just met him and then he went off. Like we couldn't have conversations with him. But it was busy. It was
I see.
right before Wimbledon, so he was getting ready for Wimbledon.
I see. Did you shake his hand and he just wished you, I guess.
Yeah,
I see
yeah, yeah, yeah. There was a
But
lot
you,
of people. There was like 10, 20 people. So everyone was surrounding him. So there was no time for a conversation.
I see. And any other players? Because you've raised the bar now. So who's the next player
Oh,
now?
player would be I think Andy Murray is the most one, and other I've met all the Indian pro players
I
like
see.
Yuki,
Wow.
Ramkumar, Prajnesh.
I see.
Yeah,
That's
I've met
interesting.
all of them.
Quite the
Yeah,
list. Quite the list. And did you have any discussions with our Indian tennis players?
yeah, a lot of them. Like recently, I played TPL and PTL, and Arjun Kade and Vijay Sundar Prashant. They were in my team, so they taught me a lot, like about doubles.
Can you take us through your diet and recovery? What is your diet and how do you recover?
So after playing matches, I do a lot of foam rolling, stretching, and
Mhm.
sometimes if I'm feeling really, really like sore or something, sometimes then I'll even take an ice bath. after the matches and tournaments. It has really helped the recovery. So next day I'm feeling fresh. And diet, I don't think like I just don't eat a lot of junk. I just eat like good food, lot of protein, lot of carbohydrates. Like in the morning I have like four, five, six eggs, egg whites. Yeah, and lots of fruits, lots of like in lunch I have like usually have like rice and chicken and vegetables. That's it.
I see.
Like no junk food at all.
Do you have any cheat days?
Cheat days? No, like I haven't had like cheat day in a while now. Like it was like 4 or 5 months I had nothing, and then only in this last tournament I ate some sweets. That's the only thing.
So Sunil Chetri, he recently said he had a podcast with Kunal. So he said that to reach the top is easy, but it's very hard to stay there. And what are your thoughts on that?
Uh, I I mean like reaching the top is like sometimes you have like feeling really good, like you're at the peak of your performance. Yeah, I think that's true. Like sometimes you just go up and down a lot. Like sometimes you're playing so good and then the level drops. You stay at your peak for some time, but it's really hard to maintain that level. But I think reaching the peak is almost as hard. Like you have to work tirelessly for that, and once you reach the peak, you know you can reach that again. So I think reaching the top is
Yeah, I want to ask you this. Are you jealous of your competition?
my competition.
Yeah, your peers. Some
Like
of them might play better than
yeah,
you on a
initially
particular
like
day.
if I don't know them, if I
Okay.
don't know them, I'm like sometimes they can do something which I'm not able to do. So I just ask them what how did you do that, and just we just become good friends after that. Okay.
So can you just take us through the environment that you were brought up in as a child?
So as a child, I like mostly went to school for the day, and in the school it was really fun. Yeah, actually I had a lot of fun with friends. Uh, and after the school, I was usually tired, so I would just go to sleep, and then in the evening I would go to practice, which was really fun as well. Yeah, after practice, like I played for 1 or 1.5 hours. That's it, and that was also fun. Like all the coaches, they did really well, I think. And then after that, I had tuition, which I didn't like. That was the only part I didn't like
I see.
because I
And
already spending so much time in school, like 6, 7, 8 hours. Yeah.
are you pursuing a degree? Are you going to school?
Right now, I'll be going to US college. I think I'll be going for college to study in the US.
Are there more opportunities in sports there? Because they have a better
Yeah, yeah,
infrastructure.
yeah,
I see.
yeah.
And
There's
are
a
you going to
better sports infrastructure with the studies combined. Like you can study and play at the same time. I don't
yeah,
think you can do that here.
yeah. You have to pick either of these. Talent or luck or dedication and hard work. Which combination would you pick? I'm sorry.
Uh,
Dedication and hard work is the
mm,
same thing. Talent and
yeah.
luck or dedication and drive. You not a lot of talent. That's what I mean to say. So which one would you choose?
Oh, which one would I pick?
Yeah.
Oh, I would pick talent and luck because I already have the other one.
Okay. Yeah, that's a clever way.
Dedication.
Yeah. So this is a very who's going to win
Yeah.
today's final?
Oh, I
Yeah.
think France is going to win.
Oh no, you don't want Messi to have his glory.
No, I want him to have it, but I think the other one would win. That's what I think.
I see. Would
Yeah,
you be happy if you are proved wrong today?
yeah, I would definitely.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you're
I
you're you're,
want to
so
be
you're
proved
gunning for
wrong.
Messi.
Yeah, my heart is with Messi, but my brain says the other team.
Your happiest moment in
Oh,
life.
oh, I think. Hmm, I think it was when like after COVID hit. I think spending a lot of time with my family was like the happiest moment. Like I remember like I really miss my family, and for like I lived with them for 1 year, and then going out after again, like yeah, I felt really like distant. Like it really hurt me to leave them again. Like I've been here since February. So I've been meeting them like so after so long, like 2-3 months I get to meet them once. So I just remember like COVID was actually not all that bad. It reminded me of my family a lot. Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
to the audience, if you have any questions, please put them down below, and Denim will answer them.
Yeah.
Are you going to represent India when you go to the United States?
Yeah, I'll still be representing India only. Yeah. I'm just going there for
Cool.
studies and I'm just going there to complete my studies. Yeah.
I see. And you want to say anything to the audience?
Keep doing what you're doing. As long as you're doing everything, I don't think you'll regret anything. Just keep don't stop in the middle. Keep going through.